Well, recent practice changes have taken effect within the residential real estate market, and here to break it all down for us is Krista. She's the president of the Midland Board of Realtors. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm sure this is information that people at home want to know. So can you kind of explain what are some of those practice changes in reference to real estate agents?
The settlement is not yet finalized. However, at this point, there are really three key components to the NAR settlement changes. First being that listing agents are no longer able to advertise commission in the MLS. We can advertise it in other ways, such as print material, sign writers, QR codes. The second big change is that realtors are now required to have a written buyer agreement in place with the buyer prior to scheduling a private tour. It's important to note that these buyer's agency contracts must outline how the buyer's agent is going to get paid.
How can those changes impact the real estate agent as well as the buyer?
It places more emphasis on transparency, and it gets us in the good habit of being open with our communication to our buyer and ensuring that the buyer understands the process and all that we do behind the scenes.
How do you think that will impact the market in the future as, people are transitioning with this new rule?
Anytime that you can bring transparency to an industry, it's good for everyone. And it's about time for consumers to understand all that happens behind the scenes to get a transaction from offer acceptance to the closing table. And realtors have gotten very good at solving problems before sellers even knew there was an issue. It's that old analogy of the paddling duck. It looks like everything is nice and calm on the surface, but behind the scenes, the realtor is paddling like crazy to facilitate communication and to get everything in line to get to the closing table. And these new buyer-broker agreements outline the roles and responsibilities of a realtor.
What are some of the things that you guys are noticing as people are beginning to understand these changes?
Our realtors really jumped in feet first. They're very good at pivoting and educating themselves to the constant changes within the real estate industry.
All right, and the last question I really have, how does the rule change impact buyers and sellers?
Commissions have always been and will remain fully negotiable. I think most sellers understand the importance of offering a buyer's agent commission, and that's because the goal of most sellers is to attract as many buyers as we possibly can. And by offering a buyer's agent commission, you keep your buyer pool this big instead of limiting it to the very small number of buyers that can afford to pay a buyer's agent commission out of pocket. And for buyers, it's going to be important to know that there'll be greater emphasis placed on commission being a negotiation point of a contract. And it's something that you'll want to do at the time you write an offer.
Well, where can people find more information?
They can absolutely reach out to the Midland Board of Realtors, and that email address is info@midlandrealtors.com.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.